movie to capture?
I'm a little embarrassed to admit this here. I have not read the book yet. I was going to last night because I knew we'd be talking about it, but there was a Percy Jackson installation over there, and they'll just let you keep going through it as much as you want. No, I have, guys. I've read the book. How many? By the way, let's get a sense of our audience here. How many of you have read the book? All right, so you guys know it's got all the hallmarks of an Andy Weir masterpiece, right? It's got that deft blend of science fact and science fiction. It's got those sort of epic, global, cosmic stakes in storytelling. It's got that blend of comedy and humor. But for me, the thing that I connect to and I've always connected to with Andy's work is the soul of his writing. And for this movie, to me, this movie is about the power of science, the power of teaching, the power of learning. It speaks to who we are as a people and who we can be. And I think, for me at least, the movie is about the ability of empathy and compassion to change the world. And so that's what holds me to it. When I read it, Josh, it was very much like, oh, I want to spend the next 5 years of my life working on this. And here we are. I couldn't be happier.
Amazing. Andy, look, this all starts with you, obviously. You are, of course, the author. You're also a producer on this, and I know you're on set quite a bit. Can you talk a little bit about working with Phil and Chris and making sure getting the science right, how important that was?
It was awesome. I mean, I got to be a big shot. I got to go around and it was so cool because like my job was just going around and looking at stuff, and then pretty much every day, Phil or Chris would say like, "Oh, Andy, we need to know like what would the exact velocity of the ship be at this point during the story because it's going to be on a display in the background, and we want it to be right." So just know that even if it's like blurry and out of focus, any numbers you see on a whiteboard or on a screen, I put hours into making those be correct. So they were every bit, yeah. So the guys are every bit as much, and Ryan as well, every bit as much a stickler for scientific accuracy as I've ever been when writing my book. So I was amongst my people. I mean, for a nerd like me to spend all day looking at amazing sets and then have math problems given to me, it just doesn't get better.
I mean, you talk about the amazing sets. Look, they just saw the footage. It's very clear from the trailer and the footage, the production, the design, the cinematography. Greg Fraser, obviously, is your DP. Talk about the amazing behind-the-scenes team that you guys were able to assemble.
Yeah, I mean, this is like a murderer's row, right, of people on this stage, and a murderer's row of people behind the camera. Starting with Greg Fraser, who is like the ultimate like rock star cowboy DP, right?
We got our head of VFX supervisor, worked with him on the Dune movies and has 4 Academy Awards, and is here today, Mr. Paul Lambert.
There he is.
And
the two of them would sit around on set and look at each other and go, "This is the most complex movie we have ever made, and we made 2 Dunes."
we had like Charlie Wood, who was the production designer, built all these sets. We had to build an entire spaceship in 2 modes of gravity. And then we built this entire massive tunnel. The scale of this is insane. That we built a tunnel that was like 100 feet long, filled up an entire stage. And because it was rotating, we wanted the light of the sun to bleed through all around. And so they built this array of lights. It took so much power, it had to take power from 2 other sound stages. They had to build a bridge to get the wires just to have enough power to light this one set. That's how like crazy ambitious this movie was.
We have an energy crisis because of this film, guys.
Sorry.
It was shot in England, so it's fine. It's
I meant England has an energy crisis. Whatever.
Oh well.
Used to being cold.
Look, Ryan, you've played your fair share of heroes over the years, but you have. Riley, I mean, Grace is a reluctant hero, though, to say the least. You talked a little bit about this, but can you talk a little more about how you connected with him as a reluctant hero, as a character?
I connected to his reluctance. I'm reluctant to answer this question, honestly. But I think that, that's what made the character so, aside from the fact that he has a doctorate in molecular biology, he's quite an ordinary person and in this extraordinary situation. And I think what's so, inspiring about him is that he reacts to a lot of things as I feel like I might, or a lot of us might. And he's terrified appropriately of the task in hand. And, because he's somebody who on Earth had given up on himself and has been given this opportunity to believe in himself again. And it's inspiring to watch him and to go through this journey with him, because it really is, he somehow finds a way to find the courage to put one foot after the other and keep going.
Yeah, that's right. I have a lot more questions.
But let's talk more rock. We want to show us more stuff?
Yeah, let's show more stuff.
All right.
Let's show more stuff.
All right. We'll show you I'm not going to say the word yet. I'm not going to show
Say it too soon.
Then suddenly
Doesn't work.
miss the context.
Yeah.
All right, this is a scene
Like
after...
any incantation, you got to build up to it.
Right. This is a scene after Ava Stratt, played by the amazing Sandra Hüller. That's right. Has showed up at the middle school where Ryland Grace works, and is found because he wrote a paper suggesting that there doesn't need to be water-based life forms. And so she wants him to help find out what's going on with a mysterious substance that seems to be dimming the sun. Sounds like a...
Would the gentleman like to do the honors? Shabadoo! I really like this guy.
Spoiler alert, there's an alien. So, well, I came up with this biology by starting with a real exoplanet that really exists. And then I said, well, what are the conditions on that exoplanet? How can I make there be, a life, a biosphere there? And I worked up from there. And that's how I built his biology. And obviously I got to take creative liberties and do whatever I wanted in terms of morphology. And so that was really cool. But the main takeaway I decided was I had to start off with saying, what is necessary for, if your planet has life, what's necessary for intelligent life? Like humanity to come up, to be able to get to the point where they have the scientific acumen to make spacecraft and understand their surroundings well enough to deal with an astrophage problem. And I say there's 3 core things you need. One of them is you need to have a pack instinct. You need to all have a desire to collaborate and work together like humans do, and wolves and lots of things, because a single entity by itself would not be able to, in its lifespan, figure everything out to make a spacecraft from rocks. Right? The second one is language. If you're going to have that, you need to be able to communicate information to other members of your pack or whatever, to other members of your species, so that the information that you gather during your lifetime is passed on. And the third thing is you absolutely must have a form of empathy. You must care about the other people in your pack, the other entities. You have to care about them, not just for your own selfish needs, but just an inherent desire to care for your fellow people, whatever species you are. And I believe that, thank you, and I believe that humans have that. We have all 3 of those. Maybe it doesn't feel that way, but hey, I sell positivity, that's my product. And I think that's what's necessary for an intelligent alien species to get into space. So Rocky has all of those qualities.
This relationship is so key, obviously, to this story. Drew, how do you tackle writing these scenes between Grace and Rocky?
Yeah, from a screenwriting point of view, this is a nightmare, right? You have one character, and the other character is a rock, right? And you have to build scenes, and that's all you've got. But of course, that was the very thing, like you all, that I fell in love with. And the challenge actually is the point. Building off what Andy was saying, I had a little post-it note on my desk that said, communication is empathy, and empathy is communication. And that sort of dictated every single scene. The undercurrent of every single scene is these two characters who are constantly trying to see the world from the other character's point of view. And in that, all the difficulties actually became the point. And I think that that's sort of what I held to, even when I looked at it, when the scene's going to be absolutely impossible.
For you, Ryan, look, you've had some amazing screen partners. How does Rocky stack up? I mean, what is this relationship is huge. Talk to me a little bit about that relationship between Grace and Rocky in this.
Pass.
It's not a game show.
Can I pass?
Okay.
It's too soon to talk about Rocky.
It's emotionally, you okay?
Yes, he's my, friend, and he's not here to speak for himself. So I don't want to give up his secrets.
That's sweet. Frustrating, but sweet.
Thank
Yeah.
You guys talk about him.
From Emma Stone to Person of Stone. Right now? Yeah, we go.
Classic Andy Weir.
So for you guys, how do you approach? I mean, look, all the people that have read the book have their own image of Rocky in their head. So how do you approach? What's your image of Rocky? What's your approach?
One of the things that were really important to us is that the things that Andy created in his book would become like creative provocations to us that we honored. We never wanted to make our lives more convenient by changing something that Andy did.
They always say, like, how do you care about a character that doesn't have eyes or a mouth or a face? And you're like, Pixar made you care about a lamp. It's possible.
Yeah.
You guys.
It's like, have you seen the Muppets?
Yeah.
There's like a guy with like an eyebrow. That's the whole thing.
So we called our friend Neil Scanlon at the Lucasfilm Creature Shop, who we had a wonderful relationship with, and built some amazing aliens and robots with in the past, and we tackled it together. Built a practical creature that was puppeteered by an amazing puppeteer named James Ortiz and his team of 5 we called the Rocketeers. And it was amazing having Rocky there on set every day so that we could have a real interaction and shoot the whole thing practically. And ultimately, it's going to end up being a beautiful blend of creature puppetry and animation. And it's really, he comes alive in a way that you would die for this character.
Yeah.
Rocky does not have a face.
Does not have a face.
He has no eyes, he has no
Or
mouth.
eyes.
He's made of rocks and he has 5 legs with 3 fingers on each leg.
Yeah, and that was the thing, and that was the job with Neil and with James and with the great work that Paul Lambert and his team are doing. It's a real handshake to create this really lovable person out of minerals.
Because what's great about this movie is that there's so many things that make it harder to make. You know, all of the zero-G, all of the centrifugal gravity, all the characters that have to have a wall between them because their atmospheres are different. Everything that a regular movie would be like, oh, we can change that. We were like, anything that makes it harder, we're not going to change. We're stay true to it, and then that difficulty is what makes it interesting and makes it special.
We kept saying with respect, this movie is not a Mac, it's a PC, right? Like it can, it's always the movie is a machine, the ship is a machine. It can be beautiful, it just can't be pretty, right? And and this relationship with Ryan and Rocky, Ryan is one of the things that makes you brilliant as a performer and a creator is your ability to get the most out of people around you. And so that's why it was so important to have a person or people in the scene with you to create the spontaneity so that it gave you the chance to create that relationship, you know? We all this is a puppetry thing, but Ryan is the 6th puppeteer because you need a scene partner to bring those characters to life because he has to treat it like somebody that's really there and believe it.
We also agreed that no amount of physical discomfort by Ryan was too much. We, if he has to hang from wires, if he has to be covered in Vaseline, doesn't matter. Unpleasant prosthetics on it, doesn't matter. We were willing to make that sacrifice.
Yes.
He's the fall guy.
Yes.
mean, I know you don't want to talk more about
We got a long
Rocky.
campaign.
Right, but
We want to keep it like somewhat of a mystery, but we do want to show you just a little bit of him.
Would you guys like to meet Rocky?
Right. So knowing, and everything that we're showing you today is all from the first third of the movie. So you know that there's a lot more twists and turns, and as the people who read the book know, there's a lot. The relationship between these two characters is the heart of the movie, and we're just giving you the very beginning of a taste.
All right. 3, 2, 1.